That '93 Western Conference Final was probably one of the best Western Conference Finals that the league has ever had.
Anything can happen in Game 7.
And that series was phenomenal. It was awesome. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better series. 7 games.
It was great theater.
But you know who was significant in that series? Frank Johnson. On the way back from Seattle, I said, Frank, I need to talk to you in the back. I said, Frank, what can I do to get this team pumped up for Game 7? He says to me, we're gonna be fine. And I said, what do you mean? He says, you never been to the finals, right? I said, no. He says, you just gotta play the best basketball game of your life. And he said, we'll follow.
Going to be deflected out of bounds. Saved, however, by Perkins and grabbed at midcourt by Barkley. Here's Charles. Level! Serves Charles with a steal and a wham, bam, slam.
The Sonics had a fantastic team.
I pre-warned them. I said, guys, we're dealing with a serious animal today in Charles. He's at the most pressure on him than anyone, probably on the planet right now, because if he doesn't win, this goes on his resume.
Give the ball to Chuck. If I had the ball, I would clear out and I would go wherever Chuck is and make sure he got the ball. I mean, that's the plan.
Well, Charles willed us just with his effort and energy and determination that game. And it was unbelievable.
And Charles Barkley took over. And this is a miracle. Gary Payton stopped talking. And when Gary Payton stopped talking, you know Charles has done some work.
I tell people that 44-24 game, probably the best game that I ever played in my life.
Haynes on the perimeter finds Barkley going to the hoop for a wham, bam, slam.
When we needed him the most, he came through. So to have a game like that in Game 7, to propel us to the championship, to have 44 points and 24, I mean, and like I said, you're talking about a guy who's 6'4", 6'5". I mean, it's just amazing. Just shows you what type of player he is and how great a player he was.
In games like that, I mean, don't even try and go get a rebound. I mean, don't even try and go get a rebound because he's going to knock you down and throw his out. Yeah, you probably get elbowed by Charles.
It sounds crazy to say it, but when Charles did stuff like that, it didn't even surprise me. The guy had that gear that he would do whatever he had to do. And the tougher it was, the better he was.
You know what else was key to that game as well? I don't think people remember. We put Tom Chambers in to start Game 7 because Derek McKee was just so long and he took advantage of us at that position. We put Tom Chambers at the 3.
One guy who always gets missed in our conversation is Paul Westphal. So he made the decision to go with a veteran guy, and Tom played amazing.
Marley's there. Inside to Chambers. He jams it. Level! Tom Chambers.
I remember Tom Chambers in Game 7 just had a phenomenal game.
We were struggling to hold Derek McKee down. He was having some good numbers. Derek was a very good player. And I just said, Westy, he's my teammate. I know him. I can guard him. I'm tall enough. He said, okay, start.
That was a big move, bold move by Paul Westphal as well. Brilliant move.
And the fact that Tom Chambers came off that bench, moved the defense, spreaded the defense in Seattle where they could not double or even triple team Charles at any point, knocked down shots.
And I knocked down a shot, and I held Derek down, and so it was one of those challenges. You want to have that opportunity in that type of, time in your career to help the team.
He was amazing. He gave us a great energy and a great lift, and that's just another example of guys stepping up.
And then McKee at that time was really tough to guard because he was so long. It was huge for us, and he didn't miss a beat. It was like, when was Tom gonna come through for us? And you knew it was coming soon, and he came through in a flying way.
All the things that I said, I can do this, it worked out really well because I knocked down a couple of shots, and I also was able to stop Derek.
After his contribution, and it was a big one, 17.6 rebounds for the veteran Chambers.
I was so happy for him. He just obliterated his old teammates, and we moved on to the finals.
It was 2 different eras in a weird way. Tom was at the kind of end of his career, and he had one last hurrah against Seattle, right, of all teams. And then Charles, he was just determined. And those 2 guys, I mean, they didn't play like well together all the time, but in this moment, at this span, the stars were aligned. They played very well
Tom had a great game. Being a vet that he is, he stepped up, and it was just great to watch. With him and Chuck, Tom up top, Chuck down low, I'll sit over there with my legs crossed any day.
I give Frank Johnson a lot of credit that he just said, hey man, we gonna follow you, but you got to play the best game you've ever played. And I do, he deserves a lot of credit for that.
They are going wild for the MVP. He has been sensational today. The Phoenix Suns are on their way to the NBA World Championship.
The fact that Charles in that particular game rose to the occasion and put the nail in the coffin, that's about as monster a game as you possibly could have.
It's over, the Suns win. The Suns win. They're the Western Conference champions, and they move on to play the defending world champion Chicago Bulls for all the marbles.